do. So I wanted to be able to do that, and that's what got me super passionate about lending. I love what I do. I love the families I'm able to help, and I build relationships with them that last.
So what are the differences between like being a real estate agent and being a mortgage lender, besides the obvious?
Lending side, I get to be a little bit more intimate. You get to be super personal. And a
Yeah.
lot of times I'm able to build that rapport and relationship because I can relate in some way.
You're listening to Real Estate Coffee Talk. I'm your host, Sarah Hilton, and this is your weekly live coffee date with the who's who from every corner of the real estate industry.
All right. Hey, Jasmine. Welcome to
Hey.
Real Estate Coffee Talk. Cheers. She got the branded cup, people. She is here with the branded cup. Love it. Oh my gosh. I am, as you know, so excited to have you on here. It's so weird how a lot of the people I've had on here are Instagram connections that we've made, and then we just connect like that. And now I feel like we know each other. We're friends. And don't worry, if your dog gets in the frame, it's not going to bother me. Or
Hear him. He's literally crying now because he knows I'm recording live.
how dare you pay attention to anyone?
Right.
That's always, you don't know how many of those I've done that their dogs just start barking in the background or like whining at their feet.
I'm going to let him out 1 second.
Yeah, you're good.
That's all he wants. He just wants to get out and sit under my desk. He wants to sit underneath my feet. That's what he wants.
So cute. Mine is, I don't even know what mine is. I have a little that's like 15 years old. He doesn't get up for much nowadays. He's just like gets up for food and walks, and that's it. He could kill us. All right. So, Jasmine, I'm so excited. So, tell us a little bit more about you, where you work, of course, just because it's location based, and then how long have you been in the real estate world?
All together. Okay. So, a little bit about me. My name is Jasmine Moore. I am a wife. I'm a mother to twins, Jade and Josiah, which is interesting because your son has the same name.
How crazy is that? I
know.
know. How it's not a common name at all. So when I saw that in
Um,
your form, I was like, "What? Another Josiah?" I love it.
yes.
All right.
Yes. And so, I'm a vocalist. I like to sing. I lead worship at church, and I am saved. I'm a Christian, so that's one of the things I stand firmly on. But so as far as the industry, how long I've been in real estate, I started real estate in 2018. My twins were really young, and I wanted to find a career where I can spend more time with them. That was my whole focus. And so I moved into real estate. I got my license, and then in 2020, I got hired on as an assistant for a loan company with my mentor, who is still one of my closest friends, um, who taught me everything I know about the business. So 2020 was crazy. We had a whole refi boom. That was like an amazing year as far as for real estate and lending. That was an amazing year. Everything else wasn't so great. We won't even go into that, but everyone remembers. But it
Okay.
was, yeah, but that's when I really got into the lending side of things, and I absolutely love it. I knew I wanted to be able to help families. I felt like where I was in my real estate career, I was getting a lot of clients that, sorry, they don't qualify, but I never knew why or how I could help them. And becoming a lender was like, oh, I can actually give them guidance. I can create a game plan. I can actually help my clients see it all the way through, not just tell them, sorry, the lender says you don't qualify. Now I'm the lender and I can provide the guidance, because on real estate side, we don't get to see all the background stuff.
Yeah,
So
and give
me,
them
that
some sort of plan moving forward.
yeah, there was nothing I could do. So I wanted to be able to do that, and that's what got me super passionate about lending. I love what I do. I love the families I'm able to help, and I build relationships with them that last. And that's basically why I'm the mortgage homegirl. Like I plan on being a part of your life after we close. That's not the last you're gonna hear from me. So.
Right. Okay, I love
Yeah.
this. So little known fact, when I was first getting my similar thing, when I had a job, I worked there for like 15 years, and then for all intents and purposes, got laid off. Kind of, they were going to move, and anyway, but when I was deciding, like, I wanted to still be at something because I'd been working from home. That was pre-COVID time. So my husband had a demanding job. I had at that time 5 years ago. Even my oldest was still young, and I wanted to be home too. So I tossed between getting my mortgage license and my real estate license, and my husband, being so ultra supportive, was like, you're gonna hate mortgage. You're gonna hate it. You have to, because his brother's been in the mortgage industry forever. You gotta make a bunch of calls, blah blah. But I still think I would have actually liked the mortgage side more. So, what are the differences um, between like being a real estate agent and being a mortgage lender? Besides the obvious, like as far as like the relationships, the lead gen, what are the two differences since you've done both?
So for me, I feel like on the lending side, I get to be a little bit more intimate. You're getting to know this person, no holds bar. Like there's nothing they can hide because I need
Right.
everything. So I'm asking you for everything besides your blood type. Like I don't need to know
Okay.
that, but I
Yeah.
need your social.
Social.
I want to know where you lived. I want to know all the jobs you've had. Like we get to be super personal. And a
Yeah.
lot of times I'm able to build that rapport and relationship because I can relate in some way. Prior to entering the real estate industry, I had a lot of jobs. I was in like, I was kind of person where I get bored, I move on, and it was something else. So somewhere along the line, I was in retail at some point. So now I can relate. Oh, I just love when we have our big sales and the store gets crazy.
Yeah.
I now have something to relate with
Yeah.
you on because we've been there. I've been there too. So I love that the rapport I can build with my client and how personal we get to get. And I feel like that's one of the main things. The other part, as far as you mentioned, lead gen, it's pretty similar. It's mostly organic. You build relationships with people who will refer you, and it's that part's very similar. As far as the day to day, I'm not out in the street as much. Most of my out is business related, so I'm going to title companies, or I'm meeting with an insurance agent, or if I have to meet a client, I'll meet with the client and we'll go for what documents I need. One of the pros for me is I thrive in administrative roles. I know that I enjoy paperwork. I know no one else likes it, but I enjoy paperwork.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't mind going through and finding the things that makes a difference. I don't, why doesn't this pay stub match this one? What happened? Look, I'm like, that's my investigative like
Right.
nature. I just love it. So I feel like being on this side, I get to walk more in my natural gifts versus with real estate, it's really sales driven. And I'll be perfectly honest with you guys, I'm not a salesperson. I'm not the person that's going to be able to tell you why this house is perfect. Because if you don't like it, I don't like it. Let's go
Right.
on. That's just how I move.
That was my
So
struggle too. That was
yeah,
probably the biggest struggle. That was like, I don't feel like a
yeah,
person. It's so hard. They're like, you gotta say this, and then you gotta get to this. And I'm like, I'm just like, hey, you don't like it? All right, let's keep going. Like
exactly, exactly.
hated that part. And I hated like I like for everyone to get along. And so it was all fun and games up until like right when we were like going under contract. And I didn't even mind like a little push and pull of the offer. But then when we're under contract, it's like the repair negotiations, that's where everyone turns into a psychopath. And then like those stuff leading up into closing, everyone's arguing about this and that. And I was just like, oh my God. I mean, I just hated it. I hated it. So
Yeah, I
anyway,
agree.
curious about what happens on either side. Okay. So let's talk about how we met, right?
Yes.
How we met. Quote unquote. So I put up here's the thing. I've been sick forever. Okay. So there was, first of all, I blame it on Cat Williams. Okay. So there was like a Cat Williams video meme going around. I was looking for ways to use it on my Instagram account, right? Because I have a lot of real estate agents. And and it was something, I don't even remember it, but it was something about you know, don't hire a rocket or something like that. You know, like when your clients said they're going to use Rocket Local, and Cat Williams is doing something. And Rocket Local was just the first online lender that just happened to come to my mind. So I don't know if that was a lucky thing or unlucky thing, but they just happened. It turns out this video, uh, you know, did very well, right? But I'm glad I did it. So normally I'm not the trash talking type. It was more like in jest, but uh, you know, I guess opinionated posts, I should know by now, always do really well, right? Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad because, but in that video, right? Yes, you had people that were laughing and tagging their lenders, but then you also had people that were like, "Well, I worked with Rocket, and it was actually a good experience." And there was a bunch of other Rocket lenders coming up and saying, "Well, that's not true." Whatever. Anyway, you were one of them. Sorry, you were one of them. And Jasmine's thing stood out to me because her her handle on Instagram is the mortgage home girl. And we did this in a live, but that's why it's so important to have personality in your marketing, because hers stood out to me. So it wasn't her name. I didn't know she had a son named Josiah at that point or anything. It was just like, oh, home girl. Okay, I'm gonna talk to her. And so she shed light on a reason why Rocket is not made what everyone thought it was. So tell us a little bit more about Rocket, your experience with Rocket, and this new thing that they've put out over the last few months that you're involved in.
Yes. So the post, yes, the post was, I forget the exact comment that Cap made, but he's like something about your allegiance to losers or something like
Yeah.
that. And it was like, I was like, oh, hold on, wait a second. So a lot of us got on there. The thing with it is Rocket kind of had a bad name because of it being an online lender and realtors having bad experiences in the past. And people kind of held on to that, not giving it another chance, not knowing that they've evolved. So much has grown. Like, one thing I love about the company is they do pay attention. Like, we pay attention to what people are saying, and we want to improve constantly. We aren't the number one lender for no reason. Like, we know what we're doing. We're excellent at execution. The issue was really having people local that our agents can connect to. So in October of 2022, they launched this new campaign, or not campaign, what's the word I'm looking for? Channel, like a business channel, with Rocket Mortgage Local, where across the country, there are lenders who work with Rocket that are local to your community. So now, for example, for myself, I'm in Houston. I work in Texas. I'm licensed for the state of Texas. And so I'm a local lender. I can meet with you in person. We can have a phone call where you're calling directly to my phone, not an 800 phone number, not, they realized that was kind of causing some hiccups, not being able to reach a specific person. So they added this, knowing, like, that's one thing I would say Rocket's very innovative, and they're always thinking ahead. How can we improve the experience for our clients? How can we make things better? Clients and agents alike, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that our partner relationships are also thriving. And so that's where I was really happy to jump in the beginning of this, because it wasn't truly the beginning. I got there in August. July 31st was my start date. So they had been doing this portion for a little bit less than a year, and now I was able to hop in. And as coming in from a company that is internet based, from the streets, there's a lot I had to learn, but there's also so much that Rocket's been able to take from us, like, as local lenders. Like, hey, this is how we do things. This is how it goes in the community, and they've been just super accepting and receiving of that. So, like, I love that, I'm able to be a part of my chamber of commerce. I'm able to participate at my children's school and market Rocket Mortgage because I work there and I am local. It's one of those things. And now when I meet with my clients, I'm personal. I'm able to be face to face with you, and it's not over a computer or a phone call only. I can meet with you.
Right. And I think the big thing for me, like on the real estate side, would have been having access to one person, right? Because sometimes, you can be, and it's not to say all call center people are bad, but not all call center people are good or communicate with you. Everyone has like their different styles of communication, how they work, and what works for one wouldn't work for another. So being able to find that person you can build a relationship with, and then being able to access that person time after time after time, I would think is a huge win. It would have been for me as a realtor, and then with my clients, being able to get one person. Because if I think of like the lenders I've worked with, I recommend them because I'm like, oh, this person would be perfect for you because he'll sit through and talk through everything. And then there are some people that want someone who's going to be like, bam, 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 done. And you can recommend people based on personalities, but you can't
Mhm.
do that. You're just like, call 1-800-ROCKET or whatever, the number is, and do that. So have they seen like increased success from this venture into the local market?
I believe so. I believe it's been something that it's been positive for sure. Because again, they're behind the scenes, the systems are amazing. The way that we process the loan, there's nothing that beats it. I mean, we just had a success story of closing in 3 days, going under contract and closing in 3 days. It's unheard of.
What?
So it happened. Yes, we just had a whole chat about it, and it's like we can do amazing things when it's necessary. That's not always, like, we're not going to always be able to do that, but there's times when, hey, you have a great down payment, appraisals back, everything's done, like we're good to go. We got to clear to close, and we're ready to get out docs. So it's like we have an amazing system. All we needed was to change the process in which our partners and clients get in touch with us, or enhance it, not necessarily change it, because we still have our call center, and we still have the people that are there to help you navigate your loan process.
Right.
We're just improving the way that we do that. And I feel like because of that, we're now able to, as a company as a whole, we're able to better serve our communities and our clients. Like we're just, it's been beautiful. And I just love how attentive our company is to the needs of our community. You know what I mean? Like they're realizing, hey, I've heard this. This is what people are saying. Let's try to figure out how to do this better. It's been something you don't see with large companies a lot of times. It's like, this is how we do it. We're not changing anything. It's not the tone that I'm receiving when I working here. I'm realizing like, no, we're innovative. We're going to make the changes that we need to enhance our client experience.
Right. And to kind of meet people where they're at too, because some people
Yes.
want the call center thing. Some people want
Mhm.
something a little bit more hands-on. And like some buyers are different. If you're well versed and well experienced, you may just be able to throw it out to someone you don't technically care who's doing it as long as they're doing it. But then
Right.
you have the people who need a lot more hand holding and guidance. And so it's nice to
Mhm.
have a person to deal with. Okay. So I guess a twofold question, but what do you wish agents knew about working with like loan officers, or what should agents look for? Like, what are those little things that like I wish real estate agents knew this about working with us?
I would say that I wish that I'll say it this way. I wish that more partners, loan officers that partnered with agents, kind of taught how to be a good partner.
Right.
So the way I see things here is like we are a team, we work together, and the same way my husband's a coach. So the same way on a football team,
Yeah.
um, you don't want to necessarily say like the wide receiver didn't do what he was supposed to. Like we are a team, we are one. We have to do things together. I wish that there was a little bit more cohesiveness sometimes. Now, I will say my partners are amazing. Like I love that we build that rapport, we build that relationship where I'm like, hey, anything numbers related, I'll talk about. You can always refer them back to me. When it comes to the loan, refer your client back to me. When it comes to questions about a contract or negotiations or anything like that, I'm referring them right back to you. I'm not going to talk to my client about repairs. If you are their agent, you're going to talk to your client about repairs. You don't want to talk to them about pay stubs. I'll talk to the client about pay stubs.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like knowing where the line is and understanding, like, don't go over programs with them. Don't go over interest rates with them. Don't go over, like, those are things that your lender is experienced in and has to be able to navigate that with your client, because we can see what you can't. And so just kind of realizing, okay, this is your position and this is my position. When we work in our positions, we can win this game. Like, we can totally win the game. You know what I mean? I know I totally just took my husband's coaching to this.
No, I love my husband played football in high school, and even now he's not a coach. He thinks he is. He always tells me I'm not coachable. That's his favorite term. You're uncoachable. I'm like, I'm the don't tell me what to do person. I'm like, don't be telling me what to do. But now he's on my 6-year-old plays a lot of baseball, and that's his favorite term. He's uncoachable like you. I'm like, oh my God, give me a break. But he has like a team at his job. He has a team and he has to coach them. And it's true. Like, if we all just like know exactly what our positions are, what we're bringing to the table, then the whole game goes off smoothly. But if the quarterback tries to do what the running back's supposed to do, or whatever, everything's going to get all sloppy. So
Exactly.
I love that. So on social media, how have you like been? Because I would think that while I'd rather do mortgage than real estate any day, I would think it's almost like, are you relying on realtors to give you the leads? Are you getting, when you use social media, who are you getting in front of? Is it real estate agents? Is it regular people? Or is it
It's
both?
both.
And
It's
then
both.
okay.
Yes, it's now I will say, this is pretty ironic. So even in my what is it called? My business planning I do with my team lead, my manager, I've talked to him about how I need to do better on social media. So I'm not the best with social media. I'm learning a lot, which I do follow your page on social media, the Lead Suite. It's very amazing. I love it. That's my little plug for you. But I do that. But I've been trying to increase what I do. But who I'm marketing to is both. Because in my mind, there's a lot of real estate agents that don't know the lending side of things. And so it's still educational. When I'm educating, it's for the buyer and the agent that may not know, what is a loan assumption?
Yeah.
How do we do those? So I'm able to now educate on that. And when I do that, I give just a little bit because my goal is for you to call me. My
Right.
ultimate goal is for my agent or my client to give me a call. Hey, I saw your post. What can you give me a little bit more detail? That's the point. I don't want to put everything out there because then now you can be a lender without me. You don't need me. So I'm like, so
Call some other lender. Like, this girl's sick.
yes. So my whole thing is I
it.
want you to be able to call me, and my whole point is to educate. I really want people to understand the value of owning a home and that it's not as hard as everyone makes it seem. It's
Right.
really not that difficult to get your credit together, save the money that you need to. You just have to have the guidance. Like, the proper guidance will get you there no matter what. It'll get you there. As long as you have the desire to own a home, it's very possible, because it's just
Right.
going to be a matter of how much. It's the same way as going to the gym. As much as you want to lose the weight, it's the work you put in. As
Yeah.
much as you want to stay healthy, it's the work you put in. So as much as you want to buy a house, as long as you have this trainer, the person that's leading you, helping you, we can get there. It's not impossible.
I also noticed, like, mortgage stuff that I have followed. It's a lot of them too are talk about, yes, that process, like getting ready to buy the house and all that stuff, but also like wealth building tips with mortgage that you wouldn't have known. So one mortgage guy I saw that stuck out to me was he talked about, he addressed a common concern, right? So people are locked in at these under three mortgage rates. And I've seen it in like mom groups here, and heard it from my friends like, oh, I'm stuck here forever because I'm locked in at a 3. So he addressed that exact thing, and he was talking about ways around it. Like, hey, if you like this house and you don't really have a need to leave, then stay there. That's great. Enjoy your 3%. But he was saying, um, if you are locked in at that 3%, that means you bought, either during 2020, 2021, or before, which means you likely have about one to $200,000 in equity, depending where you are in the country, right? And he was saying, okay, now here's what you can do with that. You can sell and get rid of that rate, or if you need to upsize, downsize, whatever, that house isn't working for you, you can buy a new one with the equity, and then get a renter in there that's going to help take that jump that you're taking the mortgage on the next house, and it's kind of going to even it out. So you still holding this investment property at you're not getting rid of that interest rate. And you just gave different tools for wealth. I'm like, I wouldn't have known that. I didn't grow up in a house, so that kind of stuff wasn't ever part. Like I've just been figuring life out on my own financially. And I remember I bought my first townhome, and it was, oh God, I bought it for like $140,000, 150. When I bought my next house, I didn't even know that you could probably just hold one, rent it out, and go buy another. Because a lot of realtors aren't even going to tell you that option. Or even some mortgage people, they're there just to like, you know, close the loan, basically. They're not coaches, right?
Okay.
And I think that's where people like you come in, they could provide real value that actually affects the person's life. Like if I would have had a loan person educate me on that, I
Yeah.
shoot. Those that I would have been
Yeah,
better off.
definitely. Yeah, because and that's the thing. I like to get those. I do have those conversations. So
Yeah.
literally, if I know you own a home, and we get to that part of your application, like, what do you plan on doing with your home? Are you selling it? Are you keeping it? Are you renting it? Do
Yeah.
you know what the rental rate is, or the market rate would be for your rental in that area? Now, if the rental is going to be less than what you pay, like say the area your mortgage is 2,000, but the area only goes for $1,500, then we
Yeah.
might have a different conversation because now you're going to be upside down every month.
Yeah.
But being able to communicate that and converse about that is really what, to me, is what I'm, like you said, it brings value to my client, and I'm looking at the whole picture for my client.
Right.
Even when it's a first time home buyer and I know they're a first time home buyer. Let's say, for example, I just had one close that purchased a duplex, and I was so excited. I was like,
Oh,
hey, you can live in the one side, it's still primary, you rent out the other side, you have income. Like, it's just going to help you build a portfolio of investment properties. So
right.
it's kind of like, it's just about knowing what their goal is. What is that client's goal? And again, that comes back to building that rapport. If I'm only talking to you about this particular loan, I'm not helping you. I want
Yeah.
to know your whole picture. If I'm only talking about getting this particular home closed and we're not reviewing what your future goals are, or where you are currently as far as other property you may own, then I'm not providing you the full value that I can. And I know that that's important. Um, like my mom, actually, my mom is the first one that purchased in our family in
Yeah.
2006. We
Yeah.
were living in California. She didn't move. She purchased in Texas,
Yeah.
in a little town called New Braunfels. It's not little anymore, but at the time, coming from LA, I was like, what? Where are we going? What is New Braunfels?
So remind me to tell you something about LA. Go ahead. What is a New Braunfels?
Right. What is that? And she's like, well, I just bought property, and it was such a great price at the time. Coming from California in LA, you're like 100 and what thousand for a whole house, 2,500 square feet. What? And she was like, I'm gonna buy 5 of them. And we were like, okay, slow down, just calm down. She bought 2. She literally purchased 2 homes and
Wow.
rented them out, not knowing that 2 years later the market would crash. We would end up moving. We moved into one of the homes, and she
Yeah.
kept that other one as a rental all this time
Yeah.
since 2008.
Oh
So
my.
she's had this home for almost 20 years now, and it's a rental property for her, helping her with her mortgage. So
Right.
for me, I was like, this is great. And then before I even knew anything about real estate, I knew that made sense. Like, I
Yeah.
knew that was like, and so for me, that's where I think it comes up a little bit easier, because I'm actually living that, and I'm seeing how it works. She's like, I don't want to manage this. I don't want to do anything with it. I got you. I'll take care of it. So with my clients, I do the same. Like, how can you build wealth with this purchase? I'm going to teach you how to build wealth with this purchase. It's not just going to be another debt. It's not just going to be another bill you have. Like, you can
Right.
literally build wealth out of this. So yeah,
Yeah.
it is very important, and that's the point of being in this industry. For me,
Exactly.
I'm not looking for a
And that's
transaction.
the
I want
point
to
too
teach
of
you.
also having like a personal, I think, relationship with someone, because a lot of times they're going to take that time to kind of talk you through those things, find out about your goals and
You're
all
kind
that
of
stuff.
breaking it.
Oh, I'm probably, am I too far back? Am I better now? No. Hold on. Let me see if I can unplug this altogether. Hold on.
Hello?
Yeah. Wait. Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It was
Maybe.
breaking up. It was like
Oh, that's weird. Maybe it's the microphone. Um, okay. So, what will Jasmine be doing 10 years from now?
I will probably be, let's see, 10 years. I'm 36, 46. Probably still be doing loans. More than likely, still running my real estate business. Um, Training my kids to take over the business. They'll be 18, and I want them, like, I want them to go to school. My goal is for them to go to school for sure, but I want them to also have this in their back pocket.
Right,
Because I feel like it's a great way to earn income regardless of
right.
anything. So, um, yeah, 10 years, that's a long time. I can't even
I
imagine. I
know.
know I want a portfolio of homes. I definitely want to have rental properties. Something that is a little secret that a lot of people don't know about me is my passion for single parents,
Yeah.
single mothers specifically. I would like to have homes that I could house single mothers in,
I love that.
for a very like low income, not
Yeah.
have to, so they can build themselves up. I have a whole vision in my head of how that would look. I won't give away all my secrets, but
I
that's one thing
love
that a lot of people don't know. I just, that's like a little passion. I have a job for them. I want to have a home for them and something for their kids, educational
just
wise.
getting them back. I was a single mom with my older two for 9 years. So tell me when you launch, because I will do whatever you need to help, because I love some, like, sometimes all people need is like a little bit of a, just a little leg up, just a little help. It's crazy what a difference that can make. Okay. Before I tell them where to fire you, where to follow you,
Please
tell
don't
us
fire
how
me.
they can get in touch with you if they're thinking about working with Rocket Local, or tell us whatever they need.
Yeah. So if you need to get in touch, there's more than likely someone near you in your state. We have someone in pretty much every state. So you can email me at jasminemore@rocketmortgage.com. So JASMINEMOORE @rocketmortgage.com. You can email me. You can also call me 210-273-5200. Very easy. And then you can also find me on Instagram, The Mortgage Homegirl. It's literally my handle for everything. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, it had to be shortened. So it's the MTG
Yeah.
Homegirl. It was too long to say the whole thing. So MTG for
I'm so
mortgage.
glad you're able to grab that handle everywhere else, though. I'm surprised no one
Girl.
before. That was, oh my gosh, I love it.
So
Okay.
yeah, find me. Let me help you. I'll point you in the right direction. Like I said, I know a lot of the lenders across the country. I can connect you with any one of them, any state. I can get you connected. I'm only licensed in Texas, so all I can do is Texas. Any other state, I'll have to point you to the right direction.
Perfect. And we're going to put all your contact information in the comments and the show notes and everything. So, rapid fire. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
That's my girl. Netflix or podcast?
What did you say?
Netflix or podcast?
Netflix all day.
I'm a podcast. I'm a podcast person. There's literally no way to edit out all my coughing. So, podcast person. Okay. Summer or winter? Do you even,
Summer.
do you even have winter in Houston?
Yes, it gets cold. It isn't. It's not like East Coast cold though.
Right,
It
right.
gets cold, but not that cold. Yeah.
No, yeah. Actually, Charlotte's not too bad, but I could use it a little bit warmer. I'm a summer girl all day. Well, anyway, thank you so much for joining us, seriously. And I'm glad that we have spun the other side of local. You have changed my mind. I'm sure you've changed a bunch of people's minds. So, now I'm like a new Rocket cheerleader. I'm like, go Rocket. I just have to think of a funny meme video to go with it.
Yeah. We'll find one. We'll do one, and we're
Yeah.
always gonna be in touch because you're not my new bestie. So.
Right, right. You know it, girl. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Of course, go follow Jen at the mortgage. I mean, Jen. Go follow Jasmine at the mortgage home girl. And obviously, if you have a need, I would say give Rocket Local a shot with your clients. It doesn't seem like you'll be disappointed, especially if Jasmine can connect you with someone good. Seems like you'll be in good hands. So, all right, girl. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Have a great one. Bye, y'all.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Real Estate Coffee Talk. If you enjoyed it, please take a moment to subscribe and leave us a review. It really helps. If you'd like to be featured on the show, you can get that information right in the show notes. Be sure to tune in next week for another new episode.